Hello everyone and welcome to the newest edition of Let's Play Skyrim. Last time we cleared out 4 buildings: Amryn's house, the House of Clan Battleborn, Carlotta Valentia's house, and Heimskir's house. We only have 3 buildings left in the Wind District, and I'm optimistic that we can take care of all of them in this video. We'll start with a nice bit of symmetry by tackling the House of Clan Greymane. Now we have 4 residents of House Greymane. They are Yorland Greymane, Ulfina Greymane, Freya Greymane, and Abelstein Greymane. Now, there's a quest, and it's not a miscellaneous one, it's a full-length side quest involving the Greymanes, and at its conclusion, the stuff in their house becomes free to take. However, it takes us up to Northwatch Keep in the very northwest of the map, so we won't be taking care of it for a long time. Even so, I'm not going to steal things from their house that I just want to sell until it's over. Now, only Freya and Abelstein are connected to that quest, so I'm going to start with Yorland and Ulfina. Yorland is the master. He's the smith for the companions. He works up here at the Skyforge, and he is also the master trainer for smithing, meaning he can train the skill all the way up to 90, the highest you're able to train any skill. Let's begin by picking his pockets. He's got... well, let's wait till we're hidden. Okay. He's got a steel shield, an apple pie, a flawless garnet, pickpocket to 92, awesome, a garnet, 46 gold, a key to House Greymane, and some mead. Let's talk to him now.
Got a lot of steel to shape.
And that's it. Quite a forge you've got here.
The Skyforge? Aye, my clan fathers have worked it since the first Greymanes came to Whiterun. Skyforge steel is all the companions will use, for good reason.
Tell me about yourself.
You blind, boy? I'm a blacksmith. Any halfwit could see that.
Who are the companions?
By Izmir, are you thick, or just too new to know better? The companions are the oldest, most honored band of warriors in Skyrim. Whiterun was built around their hall, Jorvaska. Don't reckon they could use you, but stranger things have happened.
Are you a companion?
Why? Who says I have to be? Skyforge steel is my art and honor. The companions need the best, so they come to me.
Alright.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess that's that for now. Let's go find Ulfina. We'll do her next. We'll see a lot more of Yorland during the Companion's quest line, but since he's still a resident of House of Clan Greymane and not Jorvaskr, I figured I'd take care of stealing his stuff and talking to him now. Ulfina tends to hang out in the market square and inside the Bannered Mare, so we'll go look for her in those 2 places. That is 604, because we definitely want to catch Freya before her market stall closes. So I don't see Ulfina out here, so she must be in the Bannered Mare.
Come on in. Just
yep, there she is. I think she technically works here. Anyway, we have an apple pie, a garnet, 10 gold, key to House Greymane,
If it
lockpick,
work you're looking for?
wine, and incidentally, she and John Battleborn, as we saw in that letter, have a sort of Romeo and Juliet thing going on. Gold necklace, silver ring, and a belted tunic. Now let's talk to her.
Need something?
That's it, huh?
Yes. What can I do for you?
Well, normally she has a bunch of snarky dialogue, but she's not giving it to us this time. Okay. Illusion to 65, and there we go. We can cast Muffle now. Unfavorite Fury.
Think it's high time that you...
Great thing about Muffle is you don't need a target, so you can just constantly spam it to get Illusion the rest of the way to 100. So, I'll put the point in health, hoard the perk. Muffle!
Slashing and slashing.
Need something?
As the brave lass Matilda charged
Fina just doesn't want to talk to me.
Yes.
I'll come back later, see if her dialogue doesn't reset. In the meantime, I need to get to Freya before she closes her market stall. So let's pick her pockets. We have butter, 21 gold, pickpocket to 93, awesome. A key to House Greymane, a lockpick.
You're not...
Come on. She is holding on to that lockpick, man. Nord Mead and a silver amethyst ring. Alright, now let's talk to her.
All I can think about is my son, my Thorold. They say that he was killed, but I know better. I know my son is alive. Those battle-born, they're in with the Imperials. They know it too, and yet they lie to my very face.
How do you know they're lying?
It's not wise to discuss it here. Please, if you truly wish to help, meet me at my home. I'll tell you the whole story.
Chops and steaks fit for a
Started. Missing in action. Meet Freya in her home. Freya Greymane in Whiterun is convinced that her missing son, Thorold, is still alive and being held captive. She's asked me to visit her at her home to speak privately about the matter. Well, that's fair. But before we go into the house, and by the...
We got warm food, warm drinks.
See if
warm...
old Fina feels like saying anything now. Nope. Well, something's going on with her. She's glitching. Because she should be talking to me. So let me just... She's like a snarky, irritating sort of feminist. Simply because you have the audacity to say hello, she'll say, "What's the matter? You can't stand the sight of a strong Nord woman?" And then she says, "There's nothing a man can do that I can't do better, whether it's serving drinks or slaying trolls." And, let's see, I'm looking at the UESP right now. Those are the only lines it gives me, but that sounds like a pretty good representative sample. By the way, the fourth person, Avelstein, he stays in the house 24/7. So we'll find him in here after we meet Freya. Although I'm not sure if she's here yet. Nope, not yet. That's okay. I'm muffled. So that means I can
Welcome to our home.
run full speed. There she is.
Who have you brought into our home?
Avelstein, put that down. He's here to help us find Thorold.
Let's try and pickpocket Avelstein while they're talking. He's got an
How do
ale,
we know
10 gold,
it's not spying for the
key to House Greymane,
Get away from me.
This
leg of goat roast, a lockpick, and a couple of things I really need.
we can't trust anyone. Who knows what they'll do if they find me here?
I can't take any more of this. No weapons.
A necklace of remedy. I'm missing both of these effects, so that's awesome. This fortifies healing rate, or health regeneration, if you want to call it that. Pickpocket increased to 94, and I also don't have fortify health. So we'll grab that too. And pickpocket's all the way up to 95. Awesome.
All right. So, you're here to help?
I'm not even sure what's going on.
My brother Thorold. He was fighting for the Stormcloaks and went missing. Everyone assumes he's dead. But he's not. I just know it. The Imperials captured him, and they're holding him someplace. The Battleborns know where. I'd go and search their house for proof, but they want me to. I'd be captured, and then we'll never know what happened to him. So I need someone to find that proof for me.
New objective, find evidence of Thorald's fate. What sort of proof do you need?
Anything that confirms that Thorald isn't dead, but is being held captive. I know those Battleborns have it. They'd be hiding it, of course. Wouldn't want it to get out that they've been lying this whole time. But you might be able to butter them up enough to lower their guard.
Why do you think the Battleborns are involved?
The Battleborns, the Emperor's biggest bootlickers here in Whiterun. Their connections to the Empire and the Legion are well known. When Thorald didn't return home, there was no question in my mind. They knew Thorald supported the Stormcloaks, knew he was gonna aid them in battle, made sure he didn't come back. Locked him up someplace to get back at my family. I'm sure of it.
Okay.
Best if
If
you
only
didn't
you
mention
could bring
anyone
my
with the
son
song
back
here.
to me.
Do you have news? Did you find something?
That's all he'll say.
I've said too much already.
Thorald's disappearance has left our family in shambles. If only you could help bring my son back to me. Please, anything you can do to help me find my Thorald. If only you could help bring my son back to me.
Okay. Why do you think the Battleborns are involved?
It's hardly a secret that they have ties to the Empire and hate anyone who speaks out against it. Thorald did worse. He took action against the Empire, and the Battleborns knew it.
How can you be sure Thorald is still alive?
He's my son. I feel it in my heart. Oh, you'd understand if you had children.
Who's the best blacksmith in Skyrim?
I can tell you're new around here asking a question like that. My husband Eorland tends the Skyforge up at Jorvaskr. The Companion's Mead Hall. Oh, there's no finer smith in the Nine Holds. You should ask him about his work. It's the only subject that'll get him talking. Well, that and maybe those stuck-up, dung-sniffing Battleborns.
Where's Jorvaskr?
Head up the steps from the market and look to your right. Can't miss it.
And
My husband
let's do
Eorl,
the other
you
choice
should
in
ask-
there.
Well, that and
The
maybe those...
Battleborns?
Don't even get me started on that lot. Huh, they put on airs like there's something special. Oh, sure, they've got money, but they ain't got a shred of honor between them. Grey Mane. Huh, now that's a name fills you with pride. We've got roots in Whiterun. We've got history.
All
You
right.
take care of yourself now.
So, just because we've progressed it, our our text has changed. Abelstein Greymane believes his brother Thorald has been taken prisoner, and that the Battleborns of Whiterun have proof. I need to find it and bring it to Abelstein. I'll talk about how to do that in a minute, but first, let's get everything useful out of the House of Clan Greymane. Like I said, we won't be stealing stuff whose only purpose is to sell until later, but anything useful we'll take now. And books, I'll read them without taking them if they have any new ones. And they have at least one that I know of. Well, hey, look there. Cave bear pelt and a horse hide. Both of those are good for smithing once I'm up for a crafting session. There's 4 gold. Alright, let's start looking at books. We've read Biography of Baranziah, we've read Hope of the Redoran, read Galarian the Mystic, read Mysterious Akavir, Lost Legends. This is a new one and it's going to start a quest. Lost Legends of Skyrim by Talsgar the Elder, Archivist of Winterhold. And it's not even a miscellaneous quest, it starts a full-length side quest, one of the longest in the game, in fact. The history of Skyrim is vast, predating even the most ancient records of man and Mer. Much has been lost, fallen to the ravages of war or the turning of the ages, but nothing is ever truly forgotten. Where no records exist, legends and folk tales offer us a key to the past, a way to piece together truths half remembered in the minds of men. For generations, the people of Morthal have told whispered tales of the Pale Lady, a ghostly woman who wanders the northern marshes, forever seeking her lost daughter. Some say she steals children who wander astray, others that her sobbing wail strikes dead all those who hear it. But behind these tales may lie a kernel of truth, for ancient records speak of Omriel, a mysterious figure Ysgrimmor's heirs battled for decades and finally sealed away. Reachmen tell the story of Phaolin Red Eagle, an ancient king who rallied his people and drove back the armies of Cyrodiil with a flaming sword. Though accounts vary, they too seem to be based on an underlying truth. The imperial chronicles of Empress Hestra mention a rebel leader of that era, who was eventually cornered and slain in battle, at the cost of a full legion of men. But some tales prove far harder to analyze. Among scholars, perhaps the best known is the forbidden legend of the Archmage Galder. In the dawning days of the First Era, the story goes, there lived a powerful wizard by the name of Galder. Wise and just, he was well known in the courts of King Harold and the Jarls of Skyrim, and his aid and counsel were sought by man and mer alike. And then he was murdered. Some say one of his sons killed him, others that King Harold, jealous of his power, gave the order. But Galder's 3 sons fled into the night, pursued by a company of Harold's best warriors and the Lord Geirmund, the king's personal battle mage. A great chase ensued, from the wilds of the Reach to the glacial north. One brother is said to have perished in the ruins of Folgenthur, at the foot of Solitude. The others were run to ground soon thereafter, and once it was done, King Harold ordered every record of their murders destroyed, and Galder's name and deeds were struck from the rolls of history. Even today, few sources remain, and no bard will tell the tale, but perhaps the truth yet remains in some ancient ruin waiting to be unearthed, for nothing is ever truly forgotten. Started Forbidden Legend. Investigate the Galder legend. Long ago, the Archmage Galder was murdered, and his 3 sons were hunted down by King Harold's personal battle mage. The entire incident was covered up, their names struck from every record, but the legend survived. Perhaps someone still knows the truth of this ancient tale. Anyway, we've read The Firmament, we've read Myths of Sheagora, so let's go to the next shelf. We have not read A Minor Maze. A Minor Maze, Shalador and Labyrinthian. Labyrinthian's modern notoriety was gained in the early part of the Third Era. Part of the Staff of Chaos was recovered from the Labyrinthian, which became instrumental in the overthrow of Jagar Tharn, ending the Imperial Simulacrum. I got pretty excited when I saw Labyrinthian in this game, because it was the 2nd dungeon in Arena. Anyway, I digress. The site has since become embedded in the minds of all subjects of the Empire, and the ruins are occasionally visited by loyalist pilgrims retracing the steps of the Eternal Champion. The namesake of Labyrinthian is somewhat less commonly known, however. The foreboding ruins were originally built as a temple to the dragons. This grew into Bromjunar, a great city of that era. Bromjunar is believed by some to have been the capital of Skyrim at the height of the dragon cult's influence there. Little historical record exists to verify or refute this, but it is known that the highest-ranking priests of the cult met at Labyrinthian to discuss matters of ruling. Bromjunar crumbled, however, along with the rest of the dragon cult, and the site lay abandoned for many years, a deteriorating reminder of those benighted days for the Nords. Not until the days of Shalador would the ruins come into use again. Shalador the Archmage was famous for his exploits in the First Era. Various tales tell of him battling Dwemer legions single-handedly, building the city of Winterhold with a whispered spell, stealing the secret of life from Akatosh, or constructing Labyrinthian himself. While many Shalador legends are hyperbole or outright fabrication, we can discover some truth behind his involvement with Labyrinthian. Shalador stood at the forefront of a movement to enact higher standards among mages, and to discourage spell use among the common castes. This effort is dubiously credited with the original organization and formation of the schools of magic and the foundation of the college at Winterhold. Consistent with this mentality, Shalador constructed his labyrinth deep within the ruins of Bromjunar to test new archmages. While navigating the destroyed city itself was not explicitly a part of the test, many candidates did not survive the journey. Shalador valued both academic knowledge as well as practical skill, and simply getting to the labyrinth required the latter. Shalador's Labyrinthian is actually 2 intersecting mazes in an hourglass pattern. One maze could not be completed without exiting the other first, which makes the only existing instruction for the test especially mysterious. Enter twice, exit only once. Alteration will lead you to destruction. Only illusion shows the way to restoration. Conjure not, but be conjured instead. We can only guess at what the solution to the test may have been, as Labyrinthian became notorious not only for the number of potential archmages who died there, but for the intense secrecy of those who succeeded. Labyrinthian eventually ceased to be used, and is regarded as a symbol of a more brutal age by modern institutions for magical studies. The ruins lay empty again, overrun with wild animals and avoided by travelers. The long history and legacy of this place, however, seems as likely to be erased from our minds as the ruins themselves are likely to sink into the sea. If you guessed we'll be there later, you're right. We've read Biography of Baranziah, we've read Chance's Folly, we've read Vernacus and Burlore, we've read Songs of the Return, Volume 19, read the Book of Daedra, read the Arcturian Heresy, read that, read that, read that, read that. Next show. Read that, we've read that. Good. In this cupboard, 7 gold. In this wardrobe, 5 gold, and a new book, Watcher of Stones. I'm going to do something cheeky here. I'm going to pull it out, read it, and then put it back. So, Watcher of Stones. Watcher of Stones by Gelef Sig, Thane of Bjorin. Long have I waited at the Guardians. I must know, are the stories true? Surely you've heard them. Tales of the stones granting powers to heroes of old, those special few being able to choose any stone to rewrite his fate. Of course you've heard them. That's why you touch the stones as you pass by. You've heard they bring luck, or a sign from the gods. But you think little of the action. It has no true meaning for you. I see it in your eyes as you pass. You do not believe. But I have always believed. Always felt that I was one of the few whose fate was not sealed at birth by the stars overhead. One of the few who could use these stones, draw on the power of the gods to change my life, change my future. I have always felt it. I have done much in my years, fought battles, defended villages, quested and adventured throughout Skyrim. I have bested the companions of Whiterun in combat, and performed deeds worthy of everlasting praise and song from the Bard's College. No task was too small or great if it could bring me honor, glory, proof that I was worthy of the stone's power. And yet, nothing. I have found many of these accursed stones in my travels, and none have responded to my touch. With each new feat I would return to the Guardians, wondering if the gods finally deemed me worthy. But now those days are gone. I am an old man with no fight left in me. And so here I sit, watching the faces of those who pass by on their daily errands, their mundane travels from one city or town to another. Most of you do not even give the stones a passing glance. You have never heard their call. You will never feel drawn to them. Some days I envy you that. Long will I wait at the Guardians, for I must know, are the stories true? Alright, let's put Watcher of Stones back. And let's check this next bedroom. Just looking for useful stuff here. Gold out of the end table. Gold out of that cupboard. Nothing in that one, so let's go downstairs. Start checking things here. Got gold in this wardrobe. Let's swipe that.
Thorald's disappearance has left our family.
Nothing on any of those shelves. We've read The Cabin in the Woods. Salt piles in the barrel. That's useful. Garlic. Nothing on that table. What about this wardrobe? 9 gold. And that's it. Okay. Now what about this shelf? Yeah. We're gonna have to mess with this. So we got a whole bowl full of garlic cloves. Now I'm gonna drop the bowl and put it back. Okay, what about books? We've read The Great War, read Real Baranziah, we've read all of Rising Threat. but Walking the World Volume 11, that's new. Walking the World Volume 11 Solitude by Spatier Munius. What you're probably noticing is that there's at least one book, and the flavors are different, but one book that really sort of serves as a guide to every city. We found the ones for Riften, we found the one for Whiterun. This is the one for Solitude, by Spatier Munius. Welcome, friend. In our latest volume we cover Solitude. Spatier could not be more pleased to be at the very seat of imperial power in Skyrim. In the course of our tour, you'll see that Solitude's riches extend from her people to the history and architecture that make up the city itself. As ever, we begin our journey outside the city walls, this time at the bottom of the hill that ascends all the way to Solitude's massive gates. Solitude's surroundings. Before scaling the hill to the city, you should be sure to take in the sights. Wander the track that leads down to the docks, and you can stop to enjoy one of the best views of the Great Arch. Originally serving as both a landmark and windbreak for Solitude's port, the easily defended Great Arch also provided an ideal building site for the ancient Nords. The city gradually grew to extend across the entire length of the arch. This growth culminated in the building of the Blue Palace, home of the High Kings and Queens of Skyrim. We will visit the palace later. The Gates of Solitude. Entrance to Solitude is guarded by 2 gates and 3 towers. The first of these towers, situated at the crossroads, is Sky Tower. It's mostly a lookout, although in times of war, barricades are erected across the nearby road to act as a first line of defense. The second tower and first smaller gate are collectively known as the Squall Gate. Here attacking armies meet their first real resistance. Last and certainly most impressive is the Storm Gate. While Castle Dower, found just within the city's main gate, has always been a massive walled structure, Solitude's outer walls and gates were not added until shortly after the coronation of High King Erling. Looking up and to the left of the main gate, you can see a small hint of Erling's preference for a more rounded style of architecture that we will see later in the Castle Dower extension, as well as the interior arch and the windmill. Now we pass through the gates and enter the main shopping district of Solitude. The Well District. Stepping inside Solitude's gates, you get your first view of the city itself. Rising tall and proud before you, banners waving from its crown, is the Emperor's Tower. Home to the Kings of Hoffingar before the consolidation of Skyrim and the creation of the Blue Palace, the Emperor's Tower is now used exclusively as guest quarters for emperors who come to visit the city. To your left and right are Solitude's inn and shops. Here can be found some of the finest imported goods in Skyrim. After all, Solitude is a wealthy city with ready access to the major shipping lanes of Tamriel. Continuing ahead, you'll come to the ramp that takes you up to Castle Dower. From here, you can truly feel the weight of this stone bastion's looming presence. The leftmost tower, topped by the pointed roof of Erling's extension, was once the castle barracks and jail. Today, the tower is the center of military power here in Solitude. Looking right past the looming Emperor's Tower, you can glimpse Solitude's natural bridge arcing gracefully over to the windmill. Built during High King Erling's day, the bridge was said to be used to discreetly allow Captain Jidda, the famous privateer, to enter Castle Dower. Some historians claim that she and the High King were simply attempting to keep their business dealings quiet. Others believe that Jidda and Erling were involved on a more personal level. At the end of the bridge is the windmill. The tower and the windmill serve as one of Solitude's most recognizable man-made landmarks. The windmill's power was once used to open the gates to what is now the East Empire Company warehouse, but today that task falls to the strong backs of the dock workers. In the shadow of the windmill you'll find the outdoor market and the well. Here you can buy a number of local delicacies, including the famous spiced wine made exclusively in Solitude. From here we'll travel up the ramp and into Castle Dower Courtyard. Castle Dower. As you enter the courtyard of Castle Dower, you are confronted with the banner of Solitude hanging over the door to what is now Castle Dower proper. At the far end of the courtyard stands the impressive Temple of the Divines. The founders of Solitude were deeply devout, and Solitude is the only place in Skyrim where all of the Divines are worshipped in a single temple. All 3 of the buildings here are well worth taking a look inside, but only the temple and Castle Dower's military wing are open. If you do venture inside the temple, take special note of the alcoves at the front. You can see the empty alcove that once held the shrine of Talos before Talos worship was outlawed. from the courtyard, travel out the exit between Castle Dower and the temple, and you'll get your first sight of the Blue Palace. Along the way, be sure to stop outside the Bard's College, a large building on your left marked by the flame of Kalissos burning beside the steps. Named for a famous bard, it is said that as long as the flame burns, the college will stand. The Bard's College. Looking up from the Bard's College steps, you can see that the college stands taller than the Blue Palace itself. The bards who train here can be heard throughout Skyrim, singing songs that capture the history of the ages. If you get a chance, you should be sure to catch the burning of King Olaf, an ancient festival where King Olaf is burned in effigy. Continue up the road from the college, and you'll reach the courtyard of the Blue Palace, our final destination. The Blue Palace. The Blue Palace is home to the Jarls of Solitude, who for centuries have also served as the High Kings and High Queens of Skyrim. The northeast wing, on your left as you enter, holds the living quarters of the Jarl and her court on the top level, and various servants below. The southwest wing, known as the Pelagius Wing, has fallen into a state of disrepair. Named for the famous High King Pelagius the Mad, the wing is rumored to be haunted by the king's ghost. The wing has been locked and left alone since shortly after Pelagius's death. You should be sure to venture inside the Blue Palace. The grand atrium and court chambers are a sight not to be missed. Other points of interest. Spatier has shown you Solitude in all its grandeur, but there are a few places more to see. The walls of the city are easily accessible and well worth climbing for the remarkable view. The Solitude docks are also worth a visit, as they are the largest in Skyrim. That's all for Walking the World Volume 11. Spatier does not know his next destination yet, but you can be sure that where he does go, he will leave you a record of the best things to see. Spatier Munius, World Traveler. Cool. Alright, let's check this other bedroom downstairs now. In the chest, we just have some gold. Same with the dresser. Salt piles in the sack actually are useful. And that end table, we have 5 gold. Oh, and having muffle is just super useful if you actually need to sneak. 14 gold.
Do you have news? Did you find something?
Alright. Let's check out this little storeroom, and we'll be done. Large sack, large sack. Fish barrel. Only useful thing is 3 salt piles. You'll notice now that we're muffled that moving, even full speed, doesn't affect our sneaking. Very handy. Okay. Now let's advance the quest a little bit. There are a few ways you can do it. Illusion 66. If you're friends with them, you can talk to them. Like, you can get Idolf to tell you, but you have to pass a hard speech check, which I can't do yet. Have to have at least 75. If you have the letter from Ulfina, you can blackmail John into getting the missive for you. But my favorite thing to do, this door is supposed to be locked, but I typically just sneak in and grab it. But this is why I left the Imperial missive alone. Let's get it now. Imperial missive. It has come to my attention that inquiries have been made as to the whereabouts of one Thorold Greymane. It is my duty to inform you that Thalmor agents have taken possession of the prisoner and have escorted him to Northwatch Keep. I don't think I need to elaborate. It is in everyone's best interest if the matter is dropped entirely. I trust there will be no further inquiries as to this matter. General Tullius. Now, deliver the proof to Avelstein. Let's do that. Now, there was supposed to be a peaceful way to resolve this quest. If you won the Civil War on behalf of the Empire, you could talk General Tullius into giving you a prisoner release, which you could present at Northwatch Keep and free Thorold without any fighting. But the programming doesn't work. You can't get the release no matter what, and so you end up having to do it violently. Even so, I prefer to work alone. You can have Avelstein help you. He'll bring 3 other guys to fight the Thalmor at Northwatch Keep for you, but I prefer to work alone, and so I'm gonna tell him to let me handle it.
Did you find something?
Sneak went up, that's nice. I have proof that Thorold lives.
I knew it. Let me see, please. The Thalmor. By the 9, it's worse than I thought. So, Northwatch Keep. Then we know where to hit 'em.
You're going to assault Northwatch Keep?
I'll do anything if it means saving my brother. You'll join us, won't you? Thorald can't be left to those monsters.
You stay hidden. I'll take care of this.
Are you sure? I doubt you stand a chance against the Thalmor. I can have a group of men ready at a moment's notice. Many would be willing to help rescue my brother.
I'm sure. I'll bring him back myself.
Very well. I'll give you a chance. But if you can't do it, I will.
Alright, find a way to release Thorald from Thalmor custody. After being convinced to help and finding proof that he is still alive, I've offered to try and free Thorald Greymane from Northwatch Keep to prevent bloodshed on either side.
Whiterun was the crown jewel of Skyrim before... Never mind.
He's given us new dialogue.
This was such a glorious city, but then everything had to change. The Empire came, and my brother was lost. Ah, but Skyrim. Skyrim is supreme among all nations. Our people, our native people, are unmatched in all Tamriel. One day the war will end, and the true heirs of Skyrim will inherit this great realm. Need something?
There we go. See, I wonder if Freya has any new dialogue.
Please tell me you have news of my son.
Nope.
You take care of yourself now.
I'm guessing Ulfina's home and is up here someplace. Although I could be wrong. I am. Let's try one more time to get Ulfina. So we're done with this for a long, long time. We won't get to Northwatch Keep until near the end of the playthrough. But...
Go cast your fancy magic
Let's
someplace
see.
else.
Oh damn, I've been going almost 40 minutes already. So we have left the Temple of Kinnereth and the Hall of the Dead. There's a lot less going on in the Hall of the Dead.
Come on in. Just stoke the fire. Take it some.
Are you in trouble? Is that why
Oh,
you're
did you
hiding
need something?
Yeah, she just
Yes.
doesn't want to say anything to me. So in the interest of keeping the video short, I'm going to go do the Hall of the Dead. And then probably call it a video and do the Temple of Kinnereth the next time. And if the Temple of Kinnereth is shorter than I remember, but I think there are several new books in there. If the Temple of So the Temple of Kinnereth might be one video all by itself. If it's shorter than I remember, I'll tack on the Dragon's Reach dungeon. But for now, let's go to the Hall of the Dead. We've progressed missing in action as far as we can without actually going to Northwatch Keep. The Hall of the Dead is up here, this torch-lined passageway, and oddly, we can do a quest in here, but it doesn't raise the guy's relationship rank with us, and so the stuff never becomes free to take. Only the stuff out here in front do we have to steal, but no matter what, we will have to steal it. So here's a Shrine of Archay. 4 skulls to grab. Why not? Let's head over here. In this room, he's in bed right now, which is perfect. That makes taking all this stuff easy. Got more skulls. Still more skulls. Let's head into his bedroom now. Yep, there he is asleep. Don't have to worry about moving, because we're muffled. 8 gold in the chest. Head over here, we've got a broom, some boots, some stuff on top of the wardrobe, inside the wardrobe, clothes, ragged robes, clothes. Let's head over here. We got skulls, the monomyth, which we've already read, gods and worship, Alduin Akatosh dichotomy, Life of Uriel Septim the 7th. I'm going to stop reading titles for books I've already read. Just know that if I don't bother reading it, we've already read it. Pretty simple, really. The Song of Pelennor VII. There are 8 of these, but they're all pretty short. The Song of Pelennor, Volume 7, on his battle with Umaril and his dismemberment. Editor's note. Volumes 1 through 6 are taken from the so-called Riemann manuscript located in the Imperial Library. It is a transcription of older fragments collected by an unknown scholar of the early Second Era. Beyond this, little is known of the original sources of these fragments, some of which appear to be from the same period, perhaps even from the same manuscript. But, as no scholarly consensus yet exists on dating these 6 fragments, no opinions will be offered here. And so after many battles with Umaril's allies, where dead Aurorans lay like candlelight around the throne, the Pelennor became surrounded by the last Ayleid sorcerer kings and their demons, each one heavy with Varliance. The White Strake cracked the floor with his mace, and they withdrew, and he said, "Bring me Umaril that called me out." And while mighty in his aspect and wicked, deathless golden Umaril favored ruin from afar over close combat, and so he tarried in the shadows of the White Tower before coming forth. More soldiers were sent against Pelennor to die, and yet they managed to pierce his armor with axes and arrows, for Umaril had wrought each one by long Varliance, which he had been hoarding since his first issue of Challenge. Presently the half-elf showed himself bathed in meridian light, and he listed his bloodline in the Ayleidun and spoke of his father, a god of the previous Kalpa's world river, and taking great delight in the heavy breathing of Pelennor who had finally bled. Text lost. And Umaril was laid low, the angel face of his helm dented into an ugliness which made Pelennor laugh, and his unfeathered wings broken off with sword strokes delivered while Pelennor stood frothing, above him insulting his ancestry and anyone else that took ship from old Elnafay, which angered the other elvish kings, and drove them to a madness of their own, and they fell on him speaking to their weapons, cutting the Pelennor into eighths, while he roared in confusion, which even the council of skiffs could hear, text lost, ran when Mor shook the whole of the tower with mighty bashing from his horns the next morning, and some were slain in overabundance in the taking, and men looked for more Ayleids to kill, but Pelennor had left none, save those kings and demons that had already begun to flee. It was Morehouse who found the White Strake's head, which the kings had left to prove their deeds, and they spoke, and Pelennor said things of regrets. But the rebellion had turned anyway, and more words were said between these immortals that even the Paravant would not deign to hear. Song of Pelennor V6 we have already read. Let's go over here. Nothing new. Okay, that's it for out here. Let's pick Anders' pockets. Iron dagger. Ale. Baked potatoes. 15 gold. Lockpick. Silver amethyst ring. And a silver ring. Well, let's talk to him.
Tell me, do you believe in mighty Arkay, god of life and death?
I'm not sure. Tell me about him.
Well, as I said, Arkay is the god of life and death. You'll find his temples and halls of the dead all across Tamriel. Priests of Arkay, such as myself, perform rites for the dead and sometimes console the bereaved. We also keep a constant vigil against those who practice the vile arts of necromancy. I asked the question because I was hoping you might be able to help me recover something I've lost.
What did you lose?
My amulet of Arkay. It's the source of my divine powers and also a sacred badge of office. I misplaced it in the catacombs. I'd look for it, but I have been hearing noises down there. I fear the dead have become restless. Without that amulet, I'm powerless to confront them. Would you be willing to search for it?
I'll find your amulet.
I'll just wait here and make sure nothing foul escapes the catacombs. The blessing of Arkay be upon you.
So we have Recover Anders' Amulet of Arkay. Restless Dead, we're gonna have to fight 3 skeletons. Oh no.
I spend so much time among the dead, I sometimes forget how much I miss the company of the living.
Oh, he's trying to go back to sleep. Well, we'll do that quest right quick.
With this terrible war, I'm a bit overwhelmed, as are the catacombs. As Whiterun's priest of Arkay, I spread his word whenever I'm able. In the meantime, Most of my hours are spent with the city's dearly departed. I'm all ears.
Alright,
You
that's it. So, how's our carry weight? Pretty good. We'll head down in the catacombs. We might have to offload. We'll see. Let's whip out our greatsword, because we got fighting to do. And actually, there's something else I need to do. I just remembered. Before I kill these guys. Gotta soul trap them. I should have soul trapped that wolf, but I was so taken aback by its random appearance at the gate that I forgot. But skeletons we can soul trap and start filling up those empty soul gems. Come here, Hoss. Conjuration to 59. That's great. There it goes. Ancient Nord battle axe. That's cool. Got one here. Need to wait for my soul trap to recharge because I want to get all three. You'll notice he just filled a petty soul gem, but I have 9 more empty petty soul gems to fill. I don't think he's in any danger of killing me before the magicka recharges. You'll notice the skeleton disintegrated, so I can't, given the treatment, vaporize him. How am I successfully hiding from him? I was standing there getting wailed on. That was weird. Come on now. Come on. Come on. Gosh, how expensive is this spell? 76. There we go. And get out the great sword. Take him down. Bone meal, ancient Nord war axe. Perfect. Let's heal that little bit of damage. That's my carry weight, 262. There's one more skeleton. Typically hangs out behind that door over there. So I'll poke around out here until my magicka recovers sufficient to cast Soul Trap again. In the meantime, probably notice there's nothing in here, but interesting thing about Halls of the Dead is that as people who live in a town die, if they die, they get moved into the Halls of the Dead, and you can search coffins that'll have their name on them, along with anything they were carrying when they died. Let's drop this last skeleton now. Bone meal, ancient Nord battle axe. Carry weight's up to 284, so I don't know if we're gonna have to offload or not. Probably. You'll notice things in here are free to take, which is great. There's not a whole lot. But here is a book, Death Blow of Abernanet. It's our first block skill book. Block increased to 21. So first, let's go pull it off my book list. Death Blow of Abernanet. And let's bounce to the free skill boost list. Let me find block. Block has 10 free boosts. With that, it's down to 9. 4 skill books left to find. The Death Blow of Abernanet with Explains by the sage Geocrates Varnus. Broken battlements and wrecked walls where worship of the horror once embraced. Footnote 1. Geocrates Varnus explains. 1. The horror refers to the Daedra prince Mehrunes Dagon. The bites of 50 winters, frost and wind. Footnote 2. Well, 2. 50 Winters suggests that the epic was written 50 years after the siege of Abernanet, which took place in 3rd era 150. Okay. Have cracked and pitted the unholy gates, and brought down the cruel, obscene spire. All is dust, all is nothing more than dust. The blood has dried, and screams have echoed out. Framed by hills in the wildest forlorn place of Morrowind sits the barren bones of Abernanet. When thrice-blessed Rangadil, footnote 3, first saw Abernanet... Let's go get footnote 3. 3. Thrice-blessed Rangadil is Rangadil Ketil, born 2nd era 803, died 3rd era 195. He was the commander of the Temple Ordinators, and thrice blessed by being blessed by the Tribunal of Gods. It burnished silver bright with power and permanence, a dreadful place with dreadful men to guard it, with fever-glassed eyes and strength through the horror. Rangadil saw the foe's number was far greater than the few ordinators and buoyant armigers he led. Watching from the hills above the field and castle of death, while it stood it damned the souls of the people of Morrowind, a cursed, iniquitous castle Abernanet. The alarum was sounded, calling the holy warriors to battle, to answer villainy shield with justice's spear, to steel themselves to fight at the front and be brave. Rangadil too grasped his shield and his thin ebon spear, and the clamor of battle began with a resounding crash, to shake the clouds down from the sky. The shield wall was smashed, and blood staunched the ground of the field, a battle like no other of Morrowind, to destroy the evil of Abernanet. The maniacal horde were skilled at arms, for certes, but the 3 holy fists of Mother, Lord, and Wizard, footnote 4, pushed the monster's army back in charge after charge. Let's go look at footnote 4. 4. Mother, Lord, and Wizard refers to the tribunal of Almalexia, Vivec, and Sothasil. Rangadil saw from above, urging the army to defend, Dagoth Thras himself in his pernicious tower spire. Footnote 5. Last footnote, thankfully. 5. Dagoth Thras was a powerful Daedra worshipper of unknown origin, who declared himself the heir of the 6th house, though there is little evidence he descended from the vanished family. And knew that only when the heart of evil was caught would the land e'er be truly saved. He pledged then by the temple and the holy tribunal of Morrowind to take the tower of Abernanet. In a violent push the tower base was pierced, but all efforts to fell the spire came to naught, as if all the strength of the horror held that one tower. The stairwell up was steep and so tight that 2 warriors could not ascend it side by side, so single file the army clambered up and up, to take the tower room and end the reign of one of the cruelest petty tyrants in the annals of Morrowind, Dagoth Thras of Abernanet. They awaited a victory cry from the first to scale the tower, but silence only returned, and then the blood, first only a rivulet and then a scarlet course, poured down the deep stairwell with the cry from above, Dagoth Thras is besting our army one by one. Rangadil called his army back, every ordinator and buoyant armiger, and he himself ascended the stairs, passing the bloody remains of the best warriors of Morrowind to the tower room of Abernanet. Like a raven of death on its eyrie was Dagoth Thras, holding bloody shield and bloody blade at the tower room door. Every thrust of Rangadil's spear was blocked with ease, every slash of Rangadil's blade was deflected away, every blow of Rangadil's mace was met by the shield, every quick arrow shot could find no purchase, for the monster's greatest power was in his dread blessing, that no weapon from no warrior found in all of Morrowind could pass the shield of Abernanet. As hour passed hour, Rangadil came to understand how his greatest warriors met their end with Dagoth Thras, for he could exhaust them by blocking their attacks, and then, thus weakened, they were simply cut down. The villain was patient and skilled with the shield, and Rangadil felt even his own mighty arms growing numb, while Dagoth Thras anticipated and blocked each cut, and Rangadil feared that without the blessing of the Divine Three of Morrowind, he'd die in the tower of Abernanet. But he still poured down blows as he yelled, foe. I am Rangadil, a prince of the true temple, and I fought in many a battle, and many a warrior has tried to stop my blade and has failed. Very few can anticipate which blow I'm planning, and fewer, knowing that, know how to arrest the design, or have the strength to absorb all of my strikes. There is no greater master of shield blocking in all of Morrowind than here in the Castle Abernanet. My foe, Dark Lord Dagoth Thras, before you slay me, I beg you, tell me how you know how to block. Wickedly proud, Dagoth Thras heard Rangadil's plea, and decided that before he gutted the temple champion, he would deign to give him some knowledge for the afterlife, how his instinct and reflexes worked, and as he started to explain, he realized that he did not know how he did it, and watched, puzzled, as Rangadil delivered what the Tales of Morrowind called the death blow of Abernanet. And there we go. Let's head down. These two staircases lead to the same area. So, important, here on the lower left, an unusual gem. Illusion to 67. Bring the unusual gem to an appraiser. There are 24 of these scattered all over Skyrim. And naturally, we're going to find them all. There's the first one. Just some clutter on and in that end table. Oh good, we're not going to have to offload. And finally, down in this room, just a little bit more clutter. And Anders' Amulet of Archay. Return the amulet to Anders. I don't know why I'm thinking there's no one in here now. Well, let's do that. You see, if we keep doing this, illusion will just hit 100 before we know it.
Need something?
I found your amulet.
Oh, thank Archay! Please, take this gold for your troubles.
15 gold, that's that.
The blessing of Archay be upon you.
Now let's steal it back. I'm feeling cheesed that he only gave me 15 gold. And before I forget, just for completeness' sake, yeah, we've been going almost an hour, so I'll do an offload and end the video here. But I think I can take back that Imperial missive that Avelstein took from me. And I've been taking back quest items that are eventually sellable, and I would like to do the same thing here. Well, let's find Avelstein. Bet he's asleep by now. That's Yorland and Freya. There he is. Oh, nope, the Imperial missive has disappeared from the game.
Was the crown jewel of Skyrim before. Well,
Look around one last time for Ulfina. I reckon she's still at the Bannered Mare. Still not saying anything. So next time we'll do the Temple of Kinnereth. It might take an hour all by itself. If I find myself with some extra time, I'll tack on the Dragon's Reach dungeon. And then we'll tackle Dragon's Reach proper 2 videos after that. But we are nearly done. I know it's taken an eternity to get through Whiterun. I think I warned you, so I don't feel that bad about it.
If you're looking for a challenge, you've come to the right place.
Need something?
Well,
A fine day to you, friend. May you drink for the thirsty, food for the hungry.
I have no
Need anything
sellable
else?
food.
Just let me know.
Well, okay. I think I do have some weapons and armor. Yeah, I have everything I picked up off those skeletons. My potions are all stolen, so there's no need to see Arcadia.
Go cast your fancy magic
I guess all my
someplace
food
else.
is stolen. That means we have weapons and armor,
Tried mercenary work?
which I can sell to Elrindir, because he's conveniently open 24 hours.
Ah, take a look.
2 Ancient Nord battle axes and an Ancient Nord war axe. There we go. That's
Thank
it for
you very
him.
much for your business.
So we'll do my usual approach, which is wait 1 hour at a time, Just make sure I cast Muffle every hour. That way I don't I'm not like grinding it out, I'm not waiting until I can cast it up to 100, but I'm not wasting those hours either. Now maybe she'll talk.
What's the matter?
There we go.
You can't stand beside a strong Lord woman? I miss the days when the Greymanes and Battleborns got along. Ever since the war started, we've been at each other's throats. There's nothing a man can do that I can't do better, whether it's serving drinks or slaying trolls. The daughters of this land are just as strong and loyal as its men. You wouldn't know it now, but the Greymanes and Battleborns were once fast friends. What can I do for you?
There we go, now she's done.
Yes.
Now I'll do what I said I would do. Wait 1 hour at a time at Bellathor's. Sell him everything else. It's simpler when you're just casting Muffle. Illusions 68. Awesome. And we're in.
Got something for just about everybody in here.
What have
Trinkets,
you got for
odds and
sale?
ends, that sort of thing.
And as usual, I'll sell him everything I don't actually have use for. I guess those empty soul gems were stolen, so now that they're filled, they still have stolen tags. That's fine and dandy. Need to stop by the Guardian Stones, because as you'll recall, I found a couple of new disenchantables, and I'd like to take care of those right away. I'll put the filled soul gems in the enchanting barrel and leave them alone until I'm ready for a crafting session, but disenchanting I like to do right away. Now we'll head to Anissa's cabin. Glad that Boethia cultist is dead. Our hardest fight so far. You might remember, he almost killed me. I had to run away and heal up in the middle of the fight. First time that had happened. It'll happen more as time goes on, naturally. That's a good thing. He also raised my armor skill 2 points, so I can't be too upset. All these books are stolen. No. I hate it when it pops up like that, and I don't know why it does it. I highlighted the thing I wanted to put in. Stupid. Anyway, hold on to those. There we go. Still didn't find any unique items, although I do need to rest. Almost forgot, but I'll put away everything that gets put away first, which includes jewels, any pelts that I'm eventually just going to turn into leather. Drop my 3 filled soul gems here in the enchanting barrel. Got my ingredients over here. I think it's mostly bone meal. And some garlic and some salt. That's good. Other than that, we just have empty soul gems, stuff I'm holding on to, and my disenchantables. Perfect. Quickly, rest 1 hour. Now we've got our 25% boost to enchanting. And let's get our 2 new effects. We have learned Fortify Healing Rate, and Enchanting has increased to 48. Way to go. And a Ring of Health. We've learned Fortify Health. I actually got almost all of the enchantments I eventually really need. I'm still, in terms of my final gear set, I'm still missing Fortify Archery, Fortify Conjuration, Fortify One-Handed, and Resist Shock, and Soul Trap. So maybe I'm not that close. I'm still missing 5 effects that I actually need, because a lot of effects just aren't that great. Anyway, we're done for now, so let's put the Thief Stone back on. Head back to Whiterun. And I'll just park myself at the Temple of Kinnereth, which is where we'll start the next video. By the way, I need to recover Anders' Amulet of RK off my miscellaneous quest list for Whiterun. Almost forgot, but we did in fact take care of that. Let's roll up to the Temple of Kinnereth. Here once again,
You've been a good friend to me. That means something.
We'll call it a video. Just as soon as I get myself to the door. Alright, this has been Let's Play Skyrim. We covered the House of Clan Greymane, we started the quest Missing in Action, cleared out the Hall of the Dead, did a little miscellaneous quest there, and found a good chunk of useful stuff. A productive video, all told. Next time, we will tackle the very last building in the Wind District, the Temple of Kinnereth, before we head up to Dragon's Reach. Until then, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.